The DB room for the Gamecocks, I think this year especially, is where most of the questions will line up for this season. Like, you obviously look at the guys that we lost last year, even though our secondary as a whole didn't play the greatest last season, you're still losing some massive, massive players on that team. First of all, in my opinion, who should be a top 10 pick, if he goes past Farley, I understand if teams take Surtain over Horn, I won't be that mad. I understand it. I do think Horn is better than Surtain, but I'm not going to be through the roof about it. But if Caleb Farley goes before JC Horn, that's when I'm going to lose my mind. I could argue to the day's end that JC Horn is better than Caleb Farley. So I think that JC Horn is a top 10 pick. You're looking at him going exactly at 10 to the Cowboys is where I have him falling on my big board, my draft board. You lose him. He is an amazing DB, a guy that you always want on your team. He's going to have an amazing career in the NFL, I think. He's a physical, big, and just a guy who is so good in press coverages, JC Horn, that I think he's going to have an amazing career. So first of all, losing him straight off the bat, it's going to hurt your DB room no matter what. Add that to another NFL draft pick in Israel Mukuamu, a tall, big DB who just gets his hands up. He's got some hops. Israel had a really, really good career at USC. Again, losing those two guys across from each other, you're losing your two starting cornerbacks. It hurts. It will always hurt. Add on top of that, John Dixon transferring out to Penn State. He's going on to play in Penn State this year. The DB room is going to be where the questions are at this season. What I'm going to kind of get at in this video is, where is our leader? Who is our leader? Where's the experience, and who are the guys that are going to need to step up this season for the Gamecocks DB room? Because, yes, last season the DB room was not anything great. Yes, we had some amazing players on there individually, but as a whole, as a collective DB room, they did not play the greatest. You look back, I could pull up any play. One specifically, you look at the Kadarius Toney one. I'm sure you guys all remember that one. I think Kadarius runs a slant route or whatever. Gamecocks have 5 DBs all around him. He just runs straight through them for a touchdown. That was posted everywhere. I saw that so many times. Another one that you look at, Elijah Moore's easy touchdown against Ole Miss. You remember that one, the one where Lane Kiffin throws his clipboard up before Elijah even catches the ball, because it was just a busted coverage, wide open. I don't think he had anyone within 20 yards of him. It was, you just look back to plays like that and you're like, man, we really, really need to step up our defense. And I think Shane Beamer, like, I've loved what I've seen from Shane Beamer so far. So we got a new coach in, we got a new whole defensive scheme coming in. How is this defense going to be able to perform? Starting off with the DBs, where do I think our leader is? Who do I think is the best player in this DB room? I'm going to go Cam Smith. Cam Smith, redshirt sophomore. He had a lot of playing time last year. He's obviously, I think, the biggest recruit out of all these guys in this DB room. I just think Cam Smith's all around the best player. He has a ton of experience. I'm pretty sure he got a pick sometime last season. He's just been on the field, and he's just a guy that, in this DB room with so many questions, I feel like he's going to be the reliable guy for the Gamecocks. You look at some of the other experienced guys. RJ Roderick coming back for his senior season. Of course, big safety for us. He's played a long time in Carolina. Jalen Dickerson, you remember him getting the big pick in the Auburn game. He's also back this season. You look at Dominic Hill, Joey Hunter. You look at Darius Rush. You look at O'Donnell Fortune. You look at all these guys who have been around the program for a long, long time. Jalen Foster, another guy. Well, not all of them have been around a long, long time, but these are guys of names that you've seen on the field, that you've heard of on the field. When you're watching the game and where you're at the game, you have heard these guys' names, especially towards the end of the last season, because when Izzy, even RJ dropped out, he opted out last season. When John did, when JC did, all those guys, these were the guys that went in to play for them in the Missouri game, in the Georgia game, in the Kentucky game. So these are guys who you have seen play on the field, and they're going to kind of be the core of this DB room going into this year. They have some experience. I'm not saying that it's amazing experience, because, again, you're going into the last 3 burner games where you have Mike Bobo in as their coach, and it's kind of just getting them experience. But, hey, experience is experience. They still went up against Georgia, who was one of the better teams of the country last year. Missouri actually didn't do that bad last season. Kentucky, I don't really care about Kentucky, but we have experience. We have some good guys in this room. it's just that real question. As a whole, as a collective unit, can the Gamecocks play well as a whole DB unit? Because the wide receivers in the SEC. There's going to be some really, really good guys that you have to go up against this season. You look at guys, I know Georgia, they just had George Pickens go out, which sucks for them. I don't like seeing any guy go out because George Pickens, even though he's in Bulldog Red, he's still the best wide receiver in all of the SEC. Love to watch him play, no matter even if he's one of our rivals. You never want to see guys get injured, but they still got Demetrius Robinson is still on that team, or Robertson on that team for Georgia. You look at Knox on Missouri. You look at, who else can I pull up? Florida just lost a ton of guys, but you pick up guys like Zippier from last year, who's going to be their main wide receiver. The wide receivers in the SEC are still going to be really, really good this year, and the DBs are going to have to lock down on them. Bottom line, the DBs are going to have to lock down on them. And yes, it's going to be the question mark, but you just got to play good as a collective unit. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. No matter what you're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, like down below, share the video. Thank you for watching, and definitely come back next time.